Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Austin Ash. I am the head of OEM partners within the APN IoT organization at AWS. And I'm joined today with Christoph Gorder, who is the Chief Global Water Officer at Charity Water. And we are here to tell you about how Charity Water and our mutual partner Twisthink keep the water flowing with AWS IoT. This is a really exciting journey. And it's really all about unlocking the value of data in a new market. And it's also about representing and demonstrating to you all and to the world that IoT has evolved beyond just connecting devices, but it's actually solving really fundamental problems, and it's transforming, even saving people's lives. And Christoph is going to tell you about the mission that Charity Water is on that accomplishes this goal. But what's interesting about this story is that it shares a lot in common with other IoT journeys that you may have experienced or maybe thinking about undertaking on your own that I thought would be good to share the parallels with. And it's really about overcoming some of the complexities of these digital transformations. And the way we like to think about it, first and foremost, is that many of the challenges that you're trying to overcome in an IoT transformation or a digital transformation really don't have anything to do with technology. It's about people and culture. And so the first most important thing is to ensure you've got good leadership alignment. You'll hear Christoph talk about how they work with leaders within government, for example, to drive that prioritization and commitment of the project. Secondly is the business case. And this is not about understanding that you have an ROI, but understanding the broader stakeholder view of the value of the project and ensuring that you're not creating a solution to a perceived problem, but actually working backwards from a real problem to solve. And then when it comes to the technical solution, it's less about making something that works end to end, but more about making something that can be adopted. And you'll hear Christoph talk about how this technology meets the needs of the villages and the urban areas that it sits in. The other thing that we like to talk about is the laws of IoT. And these are fundamentally things that you can't ignore. You have to embrace them in your IoT transformation journey. The first one is the law of physics. So actually connecting a device anywhere, anytime, any place is very difficult to do, especially in places like Christoph is going to talk about around the world where you don't have electricity or plumbing. Getting that data off of a sensor is a challenge and has to be thought through carefully. Then there's the laws of the land to ensure that you're complying with government regulations and safety type regulations. So we like to ensure that you're maximizing your ROI while also following these rules. And then the laws of economics are critical. You cannot build something that doesn't match the ROI, but you also have to ensure that there's a scalability component of the solution. And you'll hear Christoph talk about the costs of deploying this and how the Charity Water organization is scaling the solution. And at AWS, what we like to do is provide the foundational elements, whether it's the edge software like FreeRTOS that's in the Charity Water sensor. FreeRTOS has a very small footprint that allows the sensor to be battery powered and remotely connected over a period of 10 years. Also has a modular library that helps them get into markets faster with ease. We also talk about connectivity and control. So AWS IoT Core was utilized in this project to manage the devices and communicate with them even when they aren't connected to the internet. So providing that security layer both during and when it's not connected. And then lastly, the analytics services, which can be leveraged to extract value from the data to drive all kinds of outcomes, but other services with AWS were utilized as well. Things like the simple email service were greatly beneficial to getting emails sent to the right maintenance person at the right time to fix these water pumps. And so you'll hear Christoph talk about some of these capabilities. But lastly is the Amazon Partner Network. And this was really important because Twisthink brought the perfect complement to what AWS is trying to do and what Charity Water is trying to do by integrating partners like STMicro and uBlocks and Spindance across a really complex solution set. And this was done because the APN has built out very deep expertise in all of the IoT partners, and we're able to bring them together to make this solution possible. And so with that, I'm going to introduce Christoph Gorder to you from Charity Water, who's going to take you through the details of their incredible story of solving the water crisis. Christoph, over to you.
Thanks, Austin. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Christoph Gorder. I'm the Chief Global Water Officer at Charity Water. We're a nonprofit organization based in New York City. Our mission is to give clean and safe drinking water to people around the world who need it. And we were founded in 2006, and since then, we've given clean water to over 11 million people in 29 countries. Today, I'm going to talk to you about our journey with IoT and cloud computing and how we've used this technology and the technology that many of you are using yourselves in your own applications, how we've used these technologies to help some of the world's most vulnerable people get access to clean and safe drinking water. Before I do that, I want to share a short video with you that will really help you visualize the context that we're working in and the challenges and opportunities that we see out there for IoT and for the impact it can have on sustainable access to clean water.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a well breaks? Here at Charity Water, that's something we think about a lot. We know that the average well is pumped 5 million times a year. That's 13,698 times every single day. And that means breakdowns are inevitable. Since the beginning, we've trained local communities to make simple repairs to their own water projects. But sometimes, complex issues arise that are beyond their ability to fix. And that's what we've been working on lately. Imagine this scenario. A well breaks in Ethiopia, or India, or Malawi. But this is no ordinary well. It has a brand new sensor inside that our team in New York has been working on for years. That sensor detects when something's wrong and alerts a team of local mechanics trained by Charity Water. This team can fix even the most difficult problems and get water flowing again. A few days later, the well is back up and running just like it should be. This is how we see the future. A system of local leaders, innovative technology, and trained mechanics working together with communities to keep water flowing for thousands of people around the world. This is Pipeline, and it's the next big thing at Charity Water.
So before I get into the actual technology that we're working on, let me just take a step back and talk about the bigger picture of the water crisis around the world. So across the world, almost 800 million people don't have access to clean and safe drinking water. That is, twice the population of the United States, who for them every single day, clean water is a huge struggle for their families. This is a water point in Ethiopia. You can see the people lined up here, and the condition of the water is just absolutely terrible and full of disease. People are sharing water with animals, and dirty water is the cause of an enormous amount of disease and death around the world. Dirty water kills more people every year than all forms of war and violence across the world. And so it's a huge crisis out there that particularly affects women and girls. So traditionally in many of the communities that we work in, it is the task of women and girls to go and fetch water. They're walking hours to and from remote water points like this, and they're carrying jerry cans that weigh 50 pounds on their backs as they're doing this. And this is time that Girls should be in school learning, women should be starting businesses or working on their farms or spending time with their families, and instead they're forced to spend hours every day going and fetching water that is dirty and making them sick. The good news about this situation is that we actually know how to solve this problem for them. Providing people access to clean water is something we really understand how to do, and unlike many of the world's problems, there is a clear solution for this. And we've been on a path to provide as many people with clean water as we can for the last 14 years. We've reached 11 million people, and we have built clean water systems in over 50,000 villages. And as we were going around to many of these communities and working with them and building water points, we were spending a lot of time training the communities and training the local governments on how to maintain these water points over time, so that they have sustainable access and their water point's going to work for a very long time. And what we found was, because of the remoteness of the communities, they're far away from supply chains. They are in very remote areas of the world. Sometimes these systems would break down and the communities wouldn't be able to fix them. But nobody from the outside would really know about it. And so as we went around in the field, we would come across scenes like this where the government or another nonprofit might have built a water point, and people had clean water for some period of time, but over time it fell into disrepair. And it's estimated, that across the world, there are thousands and thousands of water points like this that are broken that nobody really knows about. And as we were scaling, we were investing in maintenance programs and local mechanics to help communities repair their wells. But we realized that the problem was too big to just solve with historical solutions of putting a mechanic on a motorbike and sending him around to check on villages. And so we started to explore options in IoT. Because we felt like remote sensors were transforming our lives here, and there was a way to adapt this technology to some of the world's most rugged environments and to help some of the world's most vulnerable people. So we've been working on this for several years now, and over that time we've done three prototype generations of sensors, and we've deployed over 7,000 sensors across 4 countries in Africa and Asia. These sensors are currently out there today, streaming live data on the performance of the water points, and that data is being used by mechanics in the field to respond to them. We continue to work on new generations of the technology to really get it mature enough and stable enough so that it can really scale, because we believe that this technology could help protect water points for up to 2 billion people across the developing world. The device that we've developed is very simple to install. It requires no special tools. It costs about $250 for the device and 10 years of data. It's very rugged, so you can see in the slide here that it's really uninteresting. We've had no issues with vandalism, and it was designed specifically to be highly secure in this way. It transmits across the GSM network and sends the data up to the cloud, to our AWS platform, where the data is ingested. It is enriched with other data that we're manually entering in around the demographics of the community. And then it is analyzed, and reports are automatically fed out to mechanics and government officials in the areas where we're working. And they have access to dashboards on Redash, but we also are sending out daily and weekly emails with analytics in them, and then the raw data in case they want to do their own analysis. And so we found the system to be incredibly effective, very scalable, and we're really excited about the future of this over the course of the next couple years. Now, when we got involved with this, we thought about the data quite simply, which was that it would just notify us when to dispatch a mechanic. But now that we have the data, we realize that it's actually much, much more powerful than that. And it has the power to transform our way of working and the industry that we work in into an outcomes-based model. And what I mean by that is historically, we've invested capital in building infrastructure and training the folks to maintain it. But now what we can do is to finance, using the data from the sensor, we can finance the outcomes that we want, which is clean water flowing. So we could have a contract with a local mechanic on the ground and to take care of a particular well, and we could create an incentive-based system where we will reward that mechanic for every 5,000 liters of clean water that flow through a hand pump, for example. So the hand pump sensor will send that data up to the cloud. There's a smart contract in the cloud using blockchain, and then that will release a payment automatically using cryptocurrency into the hand pump mechanic's cell phone, into mobile money. And all of these pathways currently exist, and putting them together is possible because of the platform that we're on. So in the future, if you can imagine us being able to bundle 100 or 1,000 or 5,000 hand pumps out there and creating a reward system for all of these with data monitoring data on them, it really starts to become a serious business opportunity for local entrepreneurs, and will attract talent and private sector involvement in the maintenance of rural water systems in the developing world, because they're able to scale the opportunity here. This is just scratching the surface, and we think that as we mature this technology and get it out there, it is just going to generate so many ideas on how to solve this problem that have not been possible in the past. And the only way we're able to do this is because the technology that we're using is now, and the technology you all are using also, is now at a scale and an affordability that it just never has been before in history. So we're really excited about what's to come in the future, and excited to keep you guys updated on our development of this technology. This is a big undertaking for us. We're a small nonprofit, like I said, and so we're looking for all the help that we can get. We'd love to get your ideas, your support. We have a lot of technology partners who've made this possible. This would not be possible without the partnership of many companies and organizations and bright engineers working on this with us. And so we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out to us at charitywater.org and help us solve the world water crisis, either by donating or by getting involved in this technology development, which has the power to truly transform the world. So thank you again for your interest in this project, and we hope to hear from you soon.